went out early last week. I had a status conference for the Cecil Township versus Fleeher Construction matter. Trial date has been scheduled for February 17, 2016. Also, there has been an update regarding the potential acquisition of the property, and I would like to discuss that in executive.
An update regarding what?
Potential acquisition of property by the township.
Okay.
I'll give you more details in executive session, but. And that's it.
Is that it, Chris?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. I'm going to go to the citizens before
Chairman, if I may, I just wanted to say if I can add, at least share some information with the board on recent police activity. Do that now? I'm going to go to the monitor. I have some photos and I'm going to share some information with you guys.
While Sean's making his way over the podium, I believe it was either a meeting ago or 2 meetings ago, I was directed to send a letter to PennDOT regarding speed studies on Georgetown and Mayview Roads in Cecil Township. I received a letter October 27th from PennDOT. They indicate that they reviewed crash history for both of those locations. They considered the volumes of traffic, and based on those findings, they must continue with the existing 40-mile-an-hour speed limits on both of those roadways. So essentially, they're not willing to reduce the speed limit on either of those two roads.
No, essentially, they aren't. They flat out said they must continue with the 40 mile per hour. That's, as far as I'm concerned, that's the end of that. Wait,
Since I asked for additional officers last meeting, and I always encourage that we will meet those officers. Since the last meeting, and this is nothing new in any different township or just because it's Cecil Township, we had 9 arrests with drug use incidents, and I have some photos just to share with you. I'm not discussing names. These are cases that are still going on, but I can show you photos and see what we're actually dealing with. I can give you some locations. Actually, on the 21st, we had a drug arrest, a heroin arrest, over to Cecil Township Park at 6 o'clock in the morning. And yes, right next door to the township building. I can show you, and now obviously photos speak. As you can see, there's needles, heroin bags, a lot of money. It's something you can see on TV, but this is real. It's still, to me, shocking to see this every single time we make an arrest. This is just one arrest.
Sean, I commend you and all the efforts you guys do.
Thank you.
But the bottom line is, once it gets out to county, you need to talk to somebody up there and put these people in jail for a while and quit giving them a slap on the hand.
Absolutely. If it was our decision, the police officers would have the hardest sentencing.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, you have other processes, everyone's innocent until
Did you
proven
not
guilty.
see national news? 17,000 nonviolent prisoners were released yesterday, November 1st. So that, and they enumerated drug dealers out there.
Yeah, we just had an arrest. It was recently in the newspaper, north of Valley Road. We worked on that for years. It took years to make that arrest. I'm proud to say that person is going back to jail. It was for heroin use. These things don't happen overnight. These are really timely things. You can see there's a lot of money involved.
Now, Chief, that last picture there that you just showed, is that when you see in the news when you say a brick of heroin? No, the one before that, when you say a brick, is that what that
I'll show
is?
you bricks. These are sandbags.
Those are bags, but the one you just had, were those what they consider bricks?
I'll actually show you the brick. See how they're bundled up there? Those are bricks.
That's what they consider a brick now when they see that.
Yes.
The biggest question I got, where's it coming from?
I'll click on a few of these and they're going to look pretty much the same, but these are all different arrests that we had. Sometimes it's a small amount.
Chief,
Yes.
how long did you ascertain that this has been going on in Cecil? excuse me, Cecil Township?
Well, heroin has been an issue for obviously many years. We still have the cocaine, the marijuana. We've made several arrests, again, 9 since the township meeting. I promised the board of supervisors, the residents, we are going to take more action. There's obviously, this is not the only thing in township that's important to us, but this is very important. We have overdoses, we have our children involved in this. We're going to make a stop. And if anybody is doing drug dealing in Cecil Township, we will catch you. Yes.
Just to give us a little estimate there, cost of a stamp bag, how much are those?
It depends. Most of this is coming, unfortunately, from the city of Pittsburgh. A lot of times they'll go and buy $4 to $6.
So I mean, a high school kid with lunch money.
$12 a bag, absolutely. And this is the unfortunate thing, is we're not dealing with just drug dealers. It's husbands, wives, children. A lot of them may have been in an accident, they've been on pain medication, and the doctor is no longer prescribing that medication. So this will be the first avenue they're going to take. It's cheap, it's easy to get.
So it's not like the other stuff where it's expensive, this stuff's
Absolutely.
readily available,
Okay.
like anybody
Yes.
can afford it.
Yes.
I think too, one of the points that I'd like to bring up is, and I think we were involved with this one. This happens around everyday places where you're at, not in the Giant Eagle parking lot in McDonald's. We had people telling us that there was a drug bust right there.
I'd like you to know, and I know people talk and see us moving around, especially whenever we're making the arrest. That particular arrest was because of the arrest in Cecil Park. As I said before, we make an arrest, people turn people in. The Cecil Park arrest on the 21st led to 2 more arrests, 2 different heroin issues. So again, we work with the DEA, the DA's office. We're continuing getting information, and again, sometimes these things do not happen overnight. Again, the one was in North Valley Road. That took us several years to make that arrest. There's a lot of people we're looking at. Unfortunately, if we don't get the information, it does take longer. This is just a typical marijuana arrest we just recently had, believe it or not. This was on the 30th of October. As you can see, that's a very large box full of marijuana. And let's see here, I have some numbers just to refer them to. Just so you know, and I'm not giving you particular locations because a lot of these things happen in public places. They like to do transactions where there's a lot of people around and won't give attention to you guys, such as the township park. But in South Point, we had several state Route 980 areas, state Route 50 areas, anywhere. And I know we mentioned about businesses. It's not particularly about the business. It's just they feel comfortable making that transaction in a public place.
Do you get phone calls from the business when they see this?
Absolutely. They're very cooperative. We work well with that company because we don't want to put anybody in harm's way. So typically we'll try to do it before the business opens or after the business is closed. The setups, actually.
Have you increased the education at schools? Have you gone to schools to educate the children?
Yes, we have the DARE program still, and we're continually updating the education for the officers. We're actually working closely with Ken and Mac to adjust and update some of those trainings. As well as you know, things change dramatically in behaviors. So we're constantly working with the school district to authorize and accept the training that we want to provide to the kids. So typically, again, this is just 9 arrests since the last meeting. I just wanted to express to everybody, this is what our officers are doing. I'm very proud of our officers. The addition to make the board feel comfortable will help us do more. We'll have an officer and able to go out and assist more undercover. This will give us different avenues to get more things done, as well as other important things in our community. But again, all these photos, I know they're little ones, I can just keep clicking on them. As you can see, a lot of money is involved. That is a large brick right there, obviously. This is, I believe, the one arrest that we had was the largest in Washington County. This is a very unusual one. I spoke about it last meeting. This is our officer who made this arrest. There's a lot of money involved there. There's actually cocaine involved in this one, as well as heroin. So you can see what we're getting from these individuals. It's here, it's everywhere, we're no different, but our department will address this. So we are addressing it, and we want, again, all the drug dealers know that we will find you.
What kind of risk is your officer presented with when they go on a drug bust like this?
Well, unfortunately, I don't have firearms in there, but there are guns involved in this. There is high risks. So typically when we do this for counting the money, the drugs. But yes, there is a high risk because these people do not want to go to jail. A lot of them are under the influence. So as I said before, we usually don't rush into things. We try to get as much information as we can on these individuals before we purchase from them. And we have more than enough police officers just in case if something bad would happen, that they do assist each other. We use the dog. The dog has a bulletproof vest now. I mentioned that before. Trust me when I tell you this, we use all the tools we have in personnel. And again, I can keep clicking, but they're pretty much going to look the same to you. But these are all separate incidents. And this is not, I know people are taking pictures and videotaping, but these are actual files from our arrests, which are not available to give out. But again, these are actual pictures that are pending investigations.
Within what time frame are these files
All of these are just this year.
this year?
Absolutely.
How do we compare this year with the number of arrests versus last year?
Well, we have more arrests this year. We have more officers that are trained, and I'm training more officers. We have a tip line, and we are getting good communication with the public. And again, I encourage all the time, anytime I talk to anybody in the community, whether they're coming down to the building or at the meetings, to call us. There's a tip line, you can be anonymous, we take a lot of information. I think the board probably gets a lot of information and passes on to me. We take everything serious and we look into everything. So it could be a neighbor. We've had an incident in one of our housing plans where they were selling, I think I mentioned this at the last meeting, the individual selling out of a garage. We had one of our new officers drive up and he actually sold to the new officer in plain clothes. So they don't care. They're out there to make money or they're out there to sell drugs. So I don't want to keep continuing, but I just want to make sure I share it with the board as well as the residents. Thank you.